is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Leveled Up Life podcast. It is Branamier, Courtney, as always, here with Paul McLain.
Let's go.
Helping you level up your life in all the areas that matter most: your faith, your family, your fitness, your finance, and your franchise. We are back for part 2 of what did we title this one last week? Five characteristics of a growth-minded leader. Dude, I almost thought, man, I almost forgot. It's like, dude, we got so much going on, all these different meetings, all these different, just a lot of good things happening in my life, in your life, hopefully in the life of those watching. It's a busy season right now. Kids are back in school. Like, kind of, it's the time of the year, at least for me, where it's like, all right, third quarter, going into fourth, we kind of got our halftime break, we got our summer break, kind of got to reset now. Now it's time to get after it. Like, let's finish the race. Mariah preached a message on Sunday about like finishing the wall, like finish the assignment that God's given you. And so I almost feel like, dude, it's like an adrenaline rush going right now. It's like, man, there's so much momentum, so many good things going on. And so, man, let's talk about how to grow as a leader. I mean, it's something that we've obviously talked about a lot. You can't be stagnant. You constantly have to be growing. And last week we touched on 3, and the truth is we could probably talk about 100.
Sure.
But today we got a couple good ones that kind of close out this thought. But what's up with you, man? How are you, bro?
Doing great, man. So we got point 4 and point 5. And by the way, let me just do a quick plug.
Let's go.
Go ahead and watch that message that Mariah preached. I watched it this morning, finished it again while I was working out, just because I was like, man, I think if I listen to this, I'll get that extra rep, man. Because it was so good. And just if you're like, man, I feel like I'm stuck. I feel like why is this not coming to fruition? Why am I in this wilderness moment of like this gap where I want to get here, but I'm still there? Like, how do I navigate that? She did such a great job in just delivering the right perspective to just say, hey, don't just keep going, but man, keep going with such a positive expectation and a high level of energy that you're going to just blow through the other side. And I think that's our desire and goal is like, hey, how cool would that be? Is if you're sitting here and we're, like you said, kind of stepping in this third quarter, right? And you're like, man, I just kind of thought I'd be a little further this year. And some people are like, man, I thought I'd be a little further in my life. Yeah. And that could be in every area. Maybe it's you're hyper-focused on fitness. Man, I just thought I'd look a little better. Finances, maybe I thought it would look a little better, right? Well, I think we all say that somewhat in some of these areas, right? But I think it's like, man, the choices you can make today are going to affect tomorrow. And like, if we can make a couple choices today that get a little better, obviously as we jump into these 5 characteristics of a growth-minded leader, how cool would it be if you blow through 2025 and 2026 starts with such great momentum. And we do got a couple things that are taking place to kind of help support that. Obviously, this podcast, we're going to be very intentional and diligent to provide great value to you each and every week as we go into the third and fourth quarter, where we're going to have different guests on, and we got some great speakers that are going to be joining us. I'm talking like, when you're saying high-level leader, the highest level of leaders, where I'm just looking forward to being kind of here to ask questions and receive like you guys receive each and every week. But it's going to be powerful. And also we got the blueprint, Leveled Up Life blueprint coming out pretty quick. That's October 23rd. That's going to be a transformational event. I always say that you might be one event away from having just breakthroughs, right, where your thought process is elevated or what's holding you back is broken off. And so a lot of good things taking place in the near future, man.
Yeah.
So excited.
I'm excited. There is a lot of good stuff going. And so if you don't have your tickets now, get your ticket to that event at leveluplife.io.
/events, I believe.
/events. You'll be able to find it. If not, just follow us on social. It's links all in there.
And stuff.
Yeah, all that good stuff. But let's get into it, man. So the 4th characteristic of a growth-minded leader is they prioritize inputs before outputs. And you always say something that sticks with me, and that's success leaves clues, right? And so whenever you're looking at successful, people or businesses, like there's clues all around. My kids right now are always like, Dad, what's the secret to success, or what sets people apart? And if you just study the life of great leaders, they have a lot of things in common, right? And so there's very rarely where it's just like a Elon Musk, where it's just like, dude, he's a super genius, so of course he's the richest man ever, right? But for the most part, like there's these commonalities that all leaders have, and one of them is like they're prioritizing their input, right? So they're not just pouring out all the time, which every leader has to do, but they make it a priority in their life to be poured into, whether that's books, podcasts, events, coaching, getting in the Word, prayer, like journal. Like they're figuring out a way to get good things in them, so they can leave not out of a place of like barely having enough, but the best leaders lead out of a place of overflow, right? Yeah. I know I feel it personally with me when I'm leading from barely enough to where I'm leading out of a place of overflow, and I think the people around me can feel it too. It's like there's something on them. It's the anointing. No, it's overflow. It's like I've been getting poured into, and like when you come from events, it's like, man, I got a lot to share. I got a lot to say. I got a lot of wisdom because I've been poured into. So talk about that for you. Like, what do you think the best leaders or the highest level leaders do as far as, prioritizing their inputs in order to have the best output for the teams?
Dude, this point here, man, gets me excited because this is like a point where when I started to get this, dude, my life changed forever. Not like this, like, wow, that's a deep. Are you sure? Is that over exaggerated? No, it actually did, dude. Like I remember being 19 and getting into the insurance space, and kind of like I don't read a book. Like dude, I kind of tied books to like school. I mean, I didn't read no book. And getting in that space, and I was like, man, as I started to be exposed to this different thought processes and patterns, these higher levels of success, these clues, I started to be like, wow, man, that is a different way to see it. And I started to almost have hope arise that there could be a different level of me. Like I could be a different person. I could go out there and impact and affect and change my life based on what I had coming in. I mean, I love the quote that I always tell the girls, one of our affirmations is like, you can't give what you don't have. Right, and we're a family of value that values others, and so if we want to give value, we have to increase our value because I can't give you value that I don't have, and so the focus is like, how do I become more valuable? And I think that once you become a parent, once you become somebody that's in business or somebody that's leading somebody, it could be you go to the gym and you got relationships there. Once you become somebody of influence, right, a leader, like it's your responsibility to put good things in. And I think the ultimate test of what you're putting in is when you get pushed against a wall, right? When you get squeezed, what's going to come out is what you've actually put in.
That's good.
Sometimes you can hide it, right, Brand? Like we've seen that, and where it's like that person seems like they're really good, but then all of a sudden, like a conflict happens, a tough situation happens, a storm happens, and you're like, "Whoa, dude! Like, where'd that come from? Psychopath! Like, what? And a lot of times, and I've seen that multiple times, but if you're putting good stuff in, right? Like if you're putting in disciplines of like, I'm reading my word, right? I'm doing my gratitude journal. I'm listening to a podcast. I'm reading a book. I'm developing myself. When you get squeezed, man, how cool would it be when faith comes out?
Yeah.
And I think that was always my desire, knowing that like when everybody's looking, because people are always looking, when I get squeezed, I want to be to the glory of God.
Yeah.
I mean, people are like, man, it has to be God because that's a tough situation, and that response ain't from him because I know him. And so I think that's such an essential thing. And last point I kind of put on this, Brand, is like I would always have like a personal growth plan. So like, what am I putting in intentionally? Because I know that throughout the day, like you, man, like your job is to pour out. Like all your conversations is to pour out, right? It's to how can I value you? How can I help you? A lot of it's how do I help you, right? Yeah. Like I know you said a great point, and I thought about this morning again when you said, how can I pray for you?
Yeah.
Right? Like just a great way to know, like, then that's what you ask everybody. Why? Because you're trying to figure out how can I help you? How can I pour into you?
Yeah.
Where's the value that I have that I could best place that's going to impact you opposed to somebody else? Because I'm talking about business and your marriage is struggling. I need to talk about your marriage. How can I pray for you? And I just think that, like, for me, I would sit back and say, okay, what book should I be reading would be the first thing. So I would get with somebody that has been where I am, right? And so if I'm talking to you, Brandon, I'm like, man, I want to grow my faith.
Yeah.
I would say, okay, I know the word, maybe something specific in the word, or is there another book I can read that's going to help me grow my faith? I would ask you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't just blindly look, right? Now, if I'm going to talk to somebody in business, I'd go that's had great success. I'm like, hey, dude, what book have you read that I should read?
It's good.
And man, I'm telling you, you might be one book away from having enough input that when you go out there and do the thing, you're doing it differently, and all of a sudden the output is forever different. And then to me, it's also podcasts. Like if insurance, I had calls and podcasts, and this would be the one thing I would that I did was if there were a live podcast, I wouldn't miss it, because what I believed was like this whole, oh, I'll watch it later. Sometimes later never happens.
Yeah.
I mean, think about our life. Like we do that all the time. Like I'll do this later. Then it doesn't happen. But I also knew that what if I'm on this podcast that happens every Monday at 7 a.m. like this one, right? And I don't watch it that day. And then I get to my end of the day and I'm like, man, I had this no sell. I had that relationship, man. It was just a bad conversation. It didn't go well. But then I finally listened to that podcast on Tuesday morning. And I'm like, dude, if I would have known that,
Yeah, that's really good.
I would have helped that family. If I would have known that, I wouldn't have had that conversation. And so I just feel like I would always have the live calls. I wouldn't miss them. And that I'd pick 2 or 3 people, like Ed Milet's one of them, Craig Rochelle's another one, where every week, like clockwork, I watch it. And then every week, like clockwork with Faith, dude, I rewatch the message from God's house because it's just, it speaks to me well. Like the way you deliver it resonates with me. That's why I always receive so much here. This is an input thing for me because the way you deliver, I receive it well. You might say the same thing as somebody else, and I don't receive it well. And so that's just the regimen I've got.
Yeah, I love that.
What regimen do you have? What podcast?
No, I love that. I think, number one, what you're talking about is consistency, right? And so you got to consistently be putting in the right things because I think we all have this default setting. And our default, for whatever reason, is sluggish, is lazy, is minimal. Just because I think we live in a fallen, broken world. So we kind of just have these defaults that don't default to the best version of us.
That's good.
Right? And so we have to be intentional to put the best things in, whether that's like, it's like fuel for your body. It's like you eat crap all day, well, you're gonna produce crap like physically. Like you're gonna be slow and sluggish, and it's the same thing for your mind. It's the same thing for your spirit. It's the same thing for your relationship. And so I think most people overthink or complicate the inputs. Right? It's like, well, I want to eat healthy, I just don't know how. It's like, well, why don't you just cut back the junk food? Let's start there. Cut back the sugar. It's like it's not as complicated as we think. Or it's like I really want to get to know God, but like I just don't know how. Well, just start going to church. Just make it a priority. Just read your Bible. Just start, and then we can figure out the details later. It's like, well, I want to get in business, but I got no clue about business. All right, well, why don't you get a job that has to deal with something that you like and figure out how it works? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think people just overthink because the inputs they're not secrets. It's like nothing you said was revelatory. It's like, dude, I listen to podcasts. I listen to the Word. I work out. I go to conferences. Like, it's just good things are coming in, so therefore when you're squeezed, good things can come in. I love what you said. Like, when I'm squeezed, I want my testimony to be like, God is good. But that doesn't come out under pressure unless you've had enough input coming in.
And you can't fake that.
You cannot fake that at all. It's like the whole adage, like hitting your thumb on a hammer. It's like, well, what's it going to come out of you? For me, I don't say bad words, and so that wouldn't be my natural reaction necessarily, right? Like, something else would come out because that's just not how I speak. But like for you, what's going to come out when you're squeezed? I just love that thought, right? And so it's just a great reminder to me, constantly be putting the right things in. But me, similar to you, man, it's just like the right podcast. We probably are very close in a lot of different, a lot of the same veins. Milet, Craig Rochelle, Jabin Chavez, like all the same leadership podcasts that you probably listen to. Same for me. For me right now, I'm just in a season of like going deep in the Word, and so I'm not really reading a lot of faith books necessarily, but like my library's full of my shelf, I should say, is full of just different types of faith books. But I mean, there's no secret, right? Is what I'm trying to get to. Like, there's no secret. You just got to have a consistent routine, and just do it on a daily basis. I love what you said as far as like, if the podcast is live, I'm going live. It's because I know me, and I'll say I'll do it later, and I won't do it later. And so I would just maybe challenge the audience, like, when's the last time like you scheduled growth purposely in your calendar, right? For us, like, we got something we're going to next week, not because, we have to, but it's like because we know that we're getting ready to have a big event in October. And so, hey, why wouldn't we go to other big events to not only be poured into, but like to strategize, to see what God's doing in other people's lives, so we can be poured into, so we can pour out the best to our audience, right? And so these things are intentional. We try to do something like that, at least 2-3 times a year. because there's different perspectives, there's different thoughts, there's God's moving in different ways in different areas, and so we want the information, we want the insight of how He's moving there. So maybe we can take something out of that and pour it into the people that God's given us to serve. And so that's kind of my thought.
To this is like make it a non-negotiable. Like, so the non-negotiable I had this year was 4 events that I could get poured into.
Yeah.
Because I know I can't give what I don't have, and I can't give you value if I'm not a person of value. And so 4 events was the goal. And so when you're like, hey, we got this other event, are you in? I'm like, dude, 100%. I need another one to go to.
Yeah.
Right. And so as I review it every quarter, I can say, all right, how am I tracking? Hopefully by the 3rd quarter, I'm not at 0 events and I got 4 to still do.
Yeah.
Right. Like, we've already done quite a few events so far this year, and we've got a couple events coming up still. So very important. And then if you want to overdo something, overdo that. Yeah. You're never going to sit back and say, man, I just person growed too much.
Right.
You know, like it was too much good stuff.
I'm just too motivated
now,
right now.
Be clear. I have met some people that are the most motivated people going nowhere, because they'll get a lot of input, but they have no output, right? Yeah. And so you do have to make sure that your schedule also has doing productive things. Like, you might have watched all the videos on how to do, a great workout, but dude, if you didn't go grab a dumbbell, like, it ain't gonna make no difference. You might have had the personal trainer educate you, but have you actually gone out there and participated in the thing that you've learned? But definitely, I think a lot of times it's one of those things where this could change everything. Man.
Yeah,
this could absolutely change everything. So number 5, stay humble, hungry, and healthy, is the 5th characteristic of a growth-minded leader. They stay humble, hungry, and healthy. Unpack that.
Yeah, I love this, man, because this quote, it says, "Success without sustainability is failure in disguise." Right. And so it's like this short-lived success, or this temporary satisfaction. I think the best leaders, that we love to follow, it's always like, hey, find the guy that feeds you, find the group that feeds you, find the church that feeds you. The people that feed me are humble, are these 3 things, hungry and healthy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be following someone that's just, overly ambitious, but then everything else behind the scenes is falling apart. Like, there's no humility in them. That's such a turnoff for me. Like, I've been around leaders that are like extremely successful, but then super arrogant and cocky and treat people like crap. Like, dude, I don't want to listen to you, because I see past the veil, right? And so number 1, just humility. I think if you're a man of faith, it's like, hey, we're called and made in the image of God. And so how was Jesus? Was he out super arrogant and cocky? Look at me, boys, walking on water. Look at me healing the sick. Look at me raising the dead. No, he was extremely.
Tag me on this, man.
Yeah, he would do miracles. Yeah, tag me. No, he would do miracles, and he would tell the person, don't say anything. Yeah. Like, don't let everyone know about this. Like, my time has not yet come. Like, in due season, like, my purpose will be revealed. Yeah. Right. And so I think the best leaders are the most humble leaders, and it's like you let your fruit speak for itself. Like you drive past, we were in Temecula a couple months ago, and you drive past like these vineyards and like these orchards and all that. It's like, there's not a bunch of big flashy signs going, look at our vineyards. It's like, you could just see the fruit in the field, and you're in awe of like, wow, these guys really care. Like, these guys clearly have a passion for what they're doing. I just think the best leaders don't have to advertise everything. It's like, hey, be humble, and let your fruit speak for itself. But at the same time, like, be hungry. Like, there's ambition. Like, we're going after something. We're not complacent. We're not sitting still. And then obviously the last one is to be healthy. Like, no one wants to have short-term success. Like, you want it to sustain. Like, you don't want your marriage to be blessed just because it's Valentine's Day. Yeah. Like, you want it to be blessed all throughout the year. And so I just think these 3 things are what the goal should be of every great leader, that you're not sacrificing one for the other. Like, you're not sacrificing, your health for success. Like, that's not success to me. You want it all, because burnout isn't, there's this quote, burnout isn't proof of commitment, it's often proof of poor stewardship. That's good. And so I just don't want to burn out. I want to be healthy. I want to last. I want to be, doing business or doing life, or in my marriage, or a dad for a long time, for as long as God wants me here. And so that's at least my quick thoughts on it. What about you?
I love it, man. Because like, even as you're saying this, I'm thinking like the healthy part probably affects the hungry and humble part.
Yeah, that's good.
Right? It's like, you think about a marriage, like, if all of a sudden you've lost that zeal, you've become complacent, right? It's just like this is just my wife. Like, I've been with him forever. This is what it is. And hey, we all fall into this. Be clear, I've fallen into this, right? Where you just kind of like familiarity just kind of stills the favor that marriage it has, that union that you've got. But you just start losing that hunger. And I think when it becomes unhealthy, that's when the hunger even wanes even more, right? Where it's like, it's just not healthy, so I don't really care. You start checking out. And then the humility kind of starts to go away too, because it's replaced with like this pride and ego, like, because I got to protect myself because of where this is at and how she's making me feel. So I think that healthy, that's such an important part in both, and even in business, right? Like, I think obviously when a business becomes unhealthy, the leader has a choice. Like, am I going to take responsibility and ownership for the culture and what's going on? Or am I going to start sitting back and just kind of being like, that person and this person, it's this fault, and start casting blames and justification? And that's an ego. Like, I can't be humble enough to say it's me. And a lot of times that's where the hunger dissipates too. Like, I start to become disinterested because I'm not doing the work to make it healthy. And so I think that's such a great parallel with all three. The one thing that I heard, and we actually had, we still have them, dude. So what we would do, have you ever heard about the red belt, black belt kind of mindset? Mm-hmm. So like, I got this from Dave Anderson. This is one of the events I went to his office in Westlake Village. We'd pay to go in, and it'd be like intimate, 20 people. It cost like a couple $1,000s for like a day. But dude, I got so much value from these one day, once a year meetings. And he wrote this book, The Red Belt Mindset. And so he had these red belts that you'd pick up, right? And so like, it's a physical red belt, like a karate. And he was like basically breaking down, because he ended up getting his black belt, how most black belts would get their butt whooped by a red belt. And he's like, I always thought it was interesting. Like, how does this black
Is red belt lower?
Red belt's lower. It's right before black belt. So he's like, how do these black belt typically lose to the red belt? And basically it went down to this. The black belt was no longer as hungry because they had arrived at the top. And this is another thing that you could point to, like, once you've made it to the top in business, or whatever, you've hit your expectation, right? You've arrived. The church, all of a sudden, you're like, if I could just get to a couple thousand, now you've hit it. And that was kind of your threshold. He said they just kind of become complacent. That's good. And because they're complacent, this red belt, man, they're hungry. They have not yet hit the black belt. And that black belt's a prized thing. Like, I'm a black belt. You never hear something like, hey, this guy's fighting in the MMA this week in UFC, and he's like, this guy's a red belt. Like what? Like, they don't even mention it. Like, they mention, though, he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. And so he said they're super hungry. Like, and they've got this humility. He said these black belts, they kind of walk around the studio like with their black belt.
Like, I'm the black belt here.
Yeah. Like, hey, sit down, red belt.
Right.
You jamoke. Like, you have not yet done what I've done. And so they don't have this humility. They don't have this hunger. So he says they go into this fight, and this red belt, like, man, they're hungry and they're humble. He's like, whoa, they whoop them. That. And so we ended up, getting these red belts. And when somebody hit a promotion, we'd send them this red belt. And we had a couple different things. This was a part of the card that we would give them. And I want you to kind of talk about this when we'll wrap up. But he said it's this challenger's mindset. So the red belt is this challenger's mindset. And this challenger's mindset, it just basically embodies point 5, right? The humble, hungry, healthy. He said the challenger's mindset, for one, is hungry, and then a champion's mindset is satisfied. So again, the champions, they've arrived, right? And this is why you go back to sports, and they always say, like, man, it's so hard to repeat, right? Mm-hmm. Well, it's because they've become the champion.
Yep.
So I love this. As I was sitting there thinking about it as I was in my business, and we had hit kind of a pinnacle in the business, I was like, this hit me like a brick. Like, dude, I become these things unintentionally, because complacency, man, it just sneaks in. It's not like pounding at the door, like, hey, let me in. I want to ruin your life. Like, it just sneaks in, right? I want to ruin your business and really kind of start messing things up. I want to ruin your marriage. But challenger's mindset is humble. Champion's mindset is arrogant. Challenger's mindset is teachable. Champion's mindset is a know-it-all. That's a black belt. Like, yep. I already like, what are you gonna teach me? Challenger's mindset, something to prove. Champion's mindset, been there, done that. Challenger's mindset, willing to serve. Champion's mindset, wants to be served. And he said you'd see this even in the studio. Like, the red belt was like, hey man, what can I do? Serve. Black belt's like, hey bro, I'm a black belt. Like, can I get a water? Challenger's mindset, try something new. Champion's mindset, stuck in their ways. So even that, dude, closed-minded, open-minded. We talked about that last week. Challenger's mindset works with a sense of urgency. Champion's mindset paces himself. So I just want to I just don't want to lose now.
Yeah.
I don't want to lose. Challenger's mindset Challenger's mindset plays to win. Champion's mindset plays not to lose. Challenger's mindset rattles the status quo. Champion's mindset defends the status quo. Challenger's mindset lives for the present and future. Champion's mindset lives in the past. And I think this really kind of hits all 5 of the points as we wrap up, man. This is the growth, the characteristics of a growth-minded leader is characteristics of a challenger, not necessarily a champion. What do you think?
I love this. As you're talking, the sports analogy is like what gets me, and it's so clear, right? Because you're right. You don't really see a lot of repeats. It's definitely not a three-peats.
Yeah.
Even like when it comes to fighting, like the hardest thing to do is to defend your belt. That's why it's such a big deal if someone's like is a champ for a long time, because there's always the youngster coming up that's hungry, you know? And man, it's just a good thought to like, hey, where have I become a black belt, quote unquote?
Yeah.
And who's coming behind me that's looking to take your position, you know? And I think, honestly, as I'm reflecting even just over the journey of the last 5 years with the church, is like, dude, we were probably the red belt coming up on a lot of these organizations that were just like sleeping, you know? And we've been hungry taking territory, but it's just a great reminder to keep going. Yeah. Like there's way more. Like when you're talking, it reminds me of the scripture that says we're called to go from glory to glory, from strength to strength, right? Constantly being transformed, made into the image of Christ. And so, man, it's just like there's always more. There's always something else to do. We never arrive. Like until there's no more breath in your lungs, like God still has a purpose for you. Like there's something to build, right? There's something to create. I love that you always talk about like we were created to create. Yeah. Like if you stop creating, that's when you're going to get caught. And which is why like we tying it all back together, like we go to these events because number one, it brings humility to you when you can see someone who's further ahead. It should bring humility to you when you see someone like, oh yeah, we had 1,000. That's great. They're doing 15,000. Yeah. It's like, dude, well, okay. There's more to do. You know, Anderson's doing $2,000 for a day. Oh man, I thought we were killing it with it. Yeah. 197. Here we go. You know, and I just love the thought that the red belt mindset. I'm gonna start implementing that somehow. Even for me, man, because you're right. You do get to certain places in life where I've never thought like I've arrived. I've never even contemplated that thought. But you're right. Complacency does creep in different ways. Mm-hmm. And if you're not careful, if you don't catch it soon enough, like you'll find yourself there for a season going, how did this fall apart? Like what happened here? How did we lose momentum there? Why did that stop growing? It's like, oh, we got comfortable. We weren't doing the things that got us here. Therefore, we're never going to get there, right? But if you could just somehow continue to surround yourself with other hungry people, I think, might be the key. Yeah. It's like you're constantly getting people around you who are hungry, who remind you, like, I got somewhere to go. And I think great leaders surround themselves with people who are hungry. Insecure leaders surround themselves with people who are, you know, kind of just like, or they create an environment where they don't want to be pushed, so they feel like they're the man, or they have this ego, they have this authority, they have this. Yeah, they're okay. But man, when you're secure in who you are, you can invite, you know, healthy competition and hungry people coming up behind you to push you to where you need to go. And the Bible, or not the Bible says, but just like the rising tide raises all ships. Like that's what I want. I don't want to just eat alone. I want to eat with everyone that's with me. So
100%, man. Well, great conversation. As
that was good.
Always,
really
man.
Good.
Guys, make sure to like, subscribe, share this with somebody that. I mean, it's an awareness thing, right? Like I love this quote that says that, you know, more important than the destination that you'll arrive to or you'll get to, that black belt, right? It's the person that you're becoming on the way to get there, right? And the moment that you rest and you settle on when you actually get there, that's the time where you just kind of like fall back in complacency and you know, lack of fulfillment. All those things, it's like that great paradox, man. I think it's just such an easy lie to believe that, man, once I get there, then I'm going to feel great. Well, maybe for a second. But then you're going to fall into all these different complacencies that lead to the opposite of what you thought. And so what are you getting after today? And I think just make it plain. I love what you said. It's just a lot more simpler than you think. Make it plain today. What's something specifically that you can put down, that you can go after, that's going to go out there or help you take it to the next level? And share this with somebody that way. Maybe they're in that spot where they're like, I want to get to the next level, but I don't know how to get there. This hopefully will shine the light on some blind spots that will help them become aware. And in that awareness, they can make a better choice. And in that better choice, they can go out there and start seeing their potential come to pass. So, guys, we love you. Make it a big week. We'll talk to you next week. God bless you guys.